Hey Optimancers, Chris here. I have to say I wasn't even sure I was going to make this video. Actually, I wasn't planning to make this video, but I am getting asked a lot about content where I'm going to analyze the new Monsters of the Multiverse. So, on January 25th, Wizards of the Coast released the Rules Expansion gift set. And according to Wizards of the Coast, this offers expanded rules, expanded foes, and expanded adventure. It says, embark on a journey with the rival wizards Tasha and Mordenkainen and the crime lord Xanathar. Learn new secrets and discover new magical ways to play the world's greatest role-playing game. Crafted for DMs and players alike, this collection brings together all the 5th edition rules expansion books in one set, complete with a beautiful Dungeon Master's screen. So, I kind of dispute some of the things they've said here. I mean, sometimes Wizards of the Coast releases a product where I know it's just not for me. I have a ton of dice already, so I don't see the point in getting dice sets. I get that collectors love dice sets. I get that some people just like all the new dice they can get. So these are for them, not for me. Dungeon Master screens. How many Dungeon Master screens do you need? I mean, I don't even use these. I generally trust players not to look at my notes, and I don't hide my roles from my players. So, other than having some rules handy, except, since tablets and D&D Beyond, I actually have a more handy way to access the rules as well. So yeah, I don't really use these screens, and even if I did, how many of them do I need? And that's all just fine. I mean, I buy the stuff I'm interested in, which is basically the books, and then I disregard the rest, and that's no problem to me. And I usually don't mind gift sets either. Like, the Core Rules gift set has been out for a long time. It contains 3 books that I already own, plus another DM screen that I won't use, and a box to carry them in that I won't use. No worries, this seems like a good gift, because if you want to give this to someone who wants to get into the game for the first time, it gives them the 3 essential books for doing that. But for me, there's nothing here. But this one, the D&D Rules Expansion gift set, this is really rubbing me the wrong way. And the more I think about it, the more it rubs me the wrong way, to the point where I decided I would indeed do a video discussing why. So this contains Tasha's, which I own, Xanathar's, which I own, and Monsters of the Multiverse, which is an update to Volo's and Mordenkainen's, both of which I own. In fact, I own these books multiple times. I own physical copies of all of them. I like a physical copy. The first time I read a book, I generally prefer it to be a book. You could just scroll through on a tablet through your D&D Beyond content. I don't like that as much. Reading something from cover to cover is somehow satisfying to me, and it's worth the price for me. Tools like D&D Beyond, though, have pretty much ended my use of physical books beyond their initial reading. Books are great to read from page 1 through to the end. But if I want to look up something specific from a book, well, then being able to use D&D Beyond to search that rule specifically, it's just so much more convenient. Except I bought Tasha's and Xanathar's even a 3rd time. I use Roll20 for virtual play, and although I wouldn't necessarily need to buy these books again, having them in my Roll20 library makes using the Roll20 character sheet more convenient. Never mind as a game master being able to bring up monster tokens, all fully programmed. Now, I wasn't happy to purchase these books 3 times, but overall, I have gotten value out of each time I've purchased them. And you know what? I play D&D so much that if I look at the hours of gameplay I've had versus the amount I've spent, everything's been a bargain. So although I'm purchasing the same content again and again, fair enough. But this gift set, this seems like a straight out cash grab from Wizards without providing content for what they're asking us to purchase. With the Core Rules gift set, it's clear who their target market is. It's the new player. Put the 3 essential books in one set, great. Here though, I would ask who is their target market for this product. who is it they expect to buy this? Because to determine this, we need to look at Monsters of the Multiverse. So Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse is a redesign of 30 playable races for players found in Volo's Guide to Monsters, as well as Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, as well as from a few other sources, but mainly from those two books. In addition, we have a redesign of the monsters from those two books. Now, normally, when things are redesigned, we see that redesign released as free errata. So if you own a book and it has content, let's say, for example, you own the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, it's not made obsolete by the redesign of the Blade Singer released in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, because you can access those changes without needing to buy Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You bought Sword Coast Adventures Guide, it included the Blade Singer got redesigned, but we will give you free access to that redesign because you bought that initial book. So I want you to think about this. Let's say we do have a new player. They've just joined our table, and they picked up the core books, and they've been playing for a while now, and they're enjoying it, and they've decided they want to pick up, some of the expansion books for different character options. And this handy gift set's out there where all the rules expansions are in one place. So they purchase this, then they're making their character with a different set of rules than everyone else is using. In order for them to use the same rules as we do, they either need books that have now been made obsolete, or the rest of us need to buy the new book. And that wouldn't be a problem, to me at least. We know the new core rules are coming in 2024, and we were promised everything would be compatible. But I mentioned in a previous video, I don't expect to be using old rule books anymore once the new ones come out. So here is our first taste of this. We have a new book that doesn't just combine the content from two other books, but since it also redesigns that content, and that other content doesn't get the errata for those changes, we either buy the book or we stick with the old rules. Except if our new player only has one set of those rules and we only have a different set of the rules, one of us is going to have to spend our money to get the same rules twice because there's no errata. So my solution to that is, fine, I'll buy the book. But here's the thing, I can't. In order to buy Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse, you have to buy the gift set. You have to buy Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You have to buy Xanathar's Guide to Everything. It doesn't matter if you already own them. You have to buy them again, and they're not redesigned. They're the same books. You just have to have 2 copies. You also have to buy another DM screen. And if you don't, then you don't get the new rules. And you can't get the new rules until May 17th. 4 months from now is when you can buy Monsters of the Multiverse by itself. So this goes back to who is their target market. Existing players already own 2/3 of this content. And so they need to pay over $100 for books they already own just to get access to a redesign of 2 others. New players can't really use this either because it gives them the wrong rules, since players who have the old books and not the new redesigned ones are using different character creation rules. So if you want compatible rules, then you're forcing new players to buy books that they know will be obsolete in 4 months. So I can't help but come to the conclusion that delaying the release of Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse is a deliberate attempt to pressure existing players who already own Tasha's and Xanathar's and Volo's and Mordenkainen's to spend extra money to purchase content they already own yet another time in order to access new content. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm on board for a rules redesign. I have been on board for a rules redesign for years. Frankly, I think it's needed, and I am willing to rebuy rules with that content. But I've decided I am not buying books without a redesign again because they've pulled this kind of trick. Now, in my case, it's a bit harder because, I have a channel where part of my content is analyzing new rules as they're released. I know a lot of content creators get sent these new books for free from Wizards of the Coast, but I'm not one of those channels. So when it comes to giving analysis on that content, basically my options are either to piece as much as I can together from screenshots of other channels and then make the best sense of it I can, or buy this set despite my objections, or wait until I can actually buy the book I want by itself and then analyze it properly, but be 4 months behind the other channels. And I've made my decision. I will be analyzing the changes in Monsters of the Multiverse. I will be getting the book when it's released on its own, and I'll read it properly, and then I will give you some videos with content on my analysis of that book. But if you are wondering where my videos are before then, that's why you haven't seen them. And you won't see them until the latter half of May. Now, maybe I'm overreacting here, but I'm not impressed with the way this was done. It's one thing to release new content, and it's not the best. I mean, when you release book after book, some are going to be better than others. I've bought Wizards of the Coast books that I love, and I bought Wizards of the Coast books that I thought, not so great. But this one, it seems like the intent is a little bit dirty. If I buy an adventure and it's not my taste, it's not an adventure that I thought was great, well, you know what? I know they were trying and maybe it didn't land. But this one here, I think, is a fairly transparent attempt to get customers to simply rebuy content they already own. I don't know. It probably bothers me more because I make content for this stuff. In fact, it almost certainly does, because it bothers me that my content is going to be 4 months behind. But that's not all of it. I like new content. I like playing with new options. I like trying stuff I've never tried before. And now that content is out there, but I don't get to use it for 4 more months. And why not? Because I was already an existing player, so I'm being punished because I'm an existing customer. So what I want to know is, how about you? Are you just going to swallow it and buy the gift set even if you already own Tasha's or Xanathar's or both? Are you even purchasing Monsters of the Multiverse in May? What are your opinions of Wizards releasing this content this way? Let's discuss it in the comments. Otherwise, until next time, I'm going to sit back, relax, and have some fun. D&D is for everyone. I mean, as long as they all have the same rules. Thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you again soon.